Many people think of it as a big performance. Well, it isn't. Basically, it is just a long string of simple pedal strokes, like those made by anyone who can ride a bike. If you only make the string long enough, it takes you to faraway places that you would only consider to visit by car or by train or by plane. Yet by simply pushing those pedals around, you can get anywhere you want. It might even take you over the rainbow. I was born and grew up near Antwerp in the Flemish part of Belgium. Can't say I like the city very much, despite all its attractions and distractions, its architectural beauties, the history, the culture, the expressions of arts and music. It's the continuous hustle and bustle, I guess, which makes it not really my cup of tea. I am an observer, eyes and ears set to take in a lot at the same time. Broadband, so to speak. Brilliant in nature, but disastrous in the city. Input overload lights flashing all the time. For example, I have this peculiar tendency to literally read every sign I see. Or my eyes might be glued to movements of certain individuals through the crowds or vehicles through the traffic. No good. So I fled the city long time ago, but every now and then I'm quite happy to come back and enjoy the comforts of city life for a little while. But only because it's temporary and I can walk away from it whenever I choose to do so. Or in this case, ride away from it. One thing I do like about the city is the recent development of bike paths. Flanders has always had a strong bicycle culture, so from very early onwards I was being accustomed to having wheels under my bum. I've always ridden bikes to go to school, to go to the shops, to go to work, never for sports though, never been interested in going fast, but all the more in going far. I remember countless after-school hours when I was on my bike aimlessly exploring roads and streets where I hadn't been before. Little did I know that later on in life I'd go exploring other continents on the bike. Inevitably it came to a point where I began to combine my love for cycling with my love for traveling, which proved to be a life-fulfilling success story. Not in the sense that it made me famous or something, although some friend journalists did actually write some articles in a local newspaper. But I never looked for publicity, never made a big fuss about it, just left and enjoyed myself, and defining the success of it by an immense sense of freedom and the intense happiness it gave me of being able to explore faraway countries by such an uncomplicated means as the bicycle. So here we are, September 2022, just after my 65th birthday and 9 years after my last bike trip. I'm going to hit the road again. No intention for a world trip. Been there, done that, well, sort of. This time just a modest, unpretentious 1-month round trip into Germany, starting from Antwerp. Nothing special, just for the sake of enjoying the road. Only this time I'll be trying to capture the joy of it in footage that I hope to twist in some kind of documentary. So if you're watching this now, it means somehow it must have worked out alright. Oh wow! A big smiley up in the sky above the house. On the evening before my departure, it's a sign. And yellow is my color. And so one morning, an ordinary morning just like any other, you get on your bike and just cycle away, without much fanfare or fireworks. No people waving flags, almost unseen. Out the street and you're gone. Nothing unusual here. Well, at least not on the outside. Inside, however, a lot of feelings stumble over each other during those first moments. First of all, there's the raw excitement of leaving. Whoa! I'm on my way! I'm on my way! Yay! Yep, that's it. Then there's the initial uneasiness of having to handle the heavy bike amidst the morning commuters who are riding on their time schedule a lot faster than I am. And then, having taken on the experiment of making this documentary, which involves shooting footage along the way as best as I can, adds a touch of nervousness about whether or not from now on I should look at everything through the lens of the camera. Not to mention the clumsiness of actually doing it. Adding to it all, it always feels a bit weird anyway to start a long trip from home base. There's no bridge across the river here, only a tunnel, so we go underneath. As long as you're still within the perimeter of your normal daily reach, so to speak, it doesn't yet feel like travel. You might just as well cycle to the shop or to work, just like all those who surround you. However, unlike those people who will return home later that day, you won't. And you will just continue on, day after day, free as a bird. Realizing this creates a pleasant, crispy tingle of excitement inside. And then, once beyond the outskirts of the daily perimeter, and going through places where you haven't been before on a bike, all the build-up excitement of the previous days of preparing and waiting to get going bursts open in a tidal wave of feelings of ultimate freedom and joy. Now I'm really on my way. Maybe I'm not supposed to say this, but in the flurry of all these new sensations and challenges, there's hardly any room for how feels the prospect of being separated from my partner for the next month. But don't tell her. What a lovely day for cycling. Sunshine, no wind, nice temperature, just perfect. After all those years of inactivity on the bike, I seem to easily slip back into the daily rhythm of cycling and camping, as if I have never really stopped doing it. No mad blood, I suppose. Just like cycling, the camping part also has this wonderful simplicity to it. Basically, you just lie down somewhere on the forest floor to sleep. And it only takes a few minutes to pack up in the morning and seamlessly continue the journey where you stopped the night before. A fluent process, no energy wasted on non-essential stuff. The interruption of the night has hardly been felt. And I particularly like the mornings and the first pedal strokes, when you feel refreshed and full of anticipation for what another day will bring. Day 3, a lovely Sunday morning. Bit of a headwind, but okay, I love it. They got no time to smell the flowers. C'est très gentil, madame.
Pas de souci, je check.
Oui, si vous voulez. Bonsoir. 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 Good morning, pilgrim. Hello, bike. Being a long-distance bike traveler, I've never really identified as a tourist. The closest designation for myself that I've come up with is being a pilgrim. I must admit, the dividing line between the two can be somewhat blurry at times, but in its plainest form, I see a tourist as more destination-oriented, intending to buy and consume his experiences, whereas for the pilgrim, the road towards the destination, with all its opportunities and challenges along the way, is more important than the destination itself, and he tends to extract some kind of inner growth out of it, all the while preferring more basic and simple ways of traveling that support this process. But as I said, the dividing line between the two is sometimes a bit blurry. Merci. Au revoir. After all, also a pilgrim has to eat. I have arranged to visit Pierre, a retired teacher who lives just south of Namur. As it turns out, on an excruciatingly steep hill, on whose website it says, "I open my house for a stay on your pilgrim's journey." So I'm curious to find out about his experiences and his vision on pilgrims. Hello.
Eddie.
Oui. Bonjour Pierre. Enchanté. Oh, le dernier boom.
C'est chaud, hein? Et la montée?
Oui. Non, je suis
Ah non, mais
allé à pied.
Il faut mériter pour venir ici, hein?
Oui. Alors, pour vous, qu'est-ce que ça veut dire être un pèlerin?
Mais, alors on est tous, tout le monde est pèlerin. Mais la plupart du temps, inconscient. Mais on chemine tous la vie depuis le début de notre vie. On évolue, on fait son chemin. Alors il y a ceux qui le font de façon plus consciente et qui se mettent en route et qui marchent. Ou à vélo, c'est bon aussi, mais je préfère la marche, moi, si je devais, parce qu'à chaque pas, je suis chimiste, hein, à chaque pas, on décante. Décanter, c'est laisser tomber au fond du récipient les choses qui flottent. À chaque pas, on décante, on progresse, on éclaircit, on voit plus clair dans son chemin. Et donc on est tous pèlerins, mais il y en a qui se mettent vraiment physiquement en marche et consciemment en marche. Alors avec eux, c'est magnifique de partager parce que on peut, partager sur nos chemins respectifs. Bon, ça j'aime beaucoup. Alors ça m'arrive de rencontrer des gens qui ne sont pas pèlerins, qui marchent, qui se promènent, et puis je dis bonjour, et puis on parle, puis on s'assied sur un banc, et on partage pendant parfois 1 heure, mais des choses profondes de la vie. Alors ces gens-là, ils ne se disent pas pèlerins, mais on a partagé notre pèlerinage.
Oui. Oui.
Alors bon, il y a touristes et touristes.
Oui, bien sûr.
Il y a des touristes qui cherchent uniquement la distraction.
Oui, c'est vrai. Oui.
Et là, alors, ils s'écartent complètement d'un chemin intérieur.
Oui.
Ils cherchent à oublier et ne plus penser à rien, à se distraire. Et c'est presque l'opposé du pèlerin.
Oui, ça c'est vrai.
Alors, il y a des touristes qui vont vraiment, qui changent de cadre. Ils changent de cadre, mais ils prennent contact avec des bâtiments ou des villes qu'ils ne connaissent pas. Ils s'en imprègnent et ça les fait réfléchir, avancer aussi, ou bien ils prennent, je crois peut-être plus aujourd'hui, ils prennent contact avec la nature dont ils ont un peu perdu le contact, et ça permet aussi de cheminer. Le potager, ça a été difficile, c'est difficile. Par contre, la vigne, ça donne très bien. Ici au-dessus.
Ah oui.
Ah, c'est magnifique. Alors il y a vraiment en même temps toute une convergence. Hein? Une convergence, enfin je ressens comme une convergence. Il y a des tas de problèmes et finalement la plupart de ces problèmes ne peuvent se résoudre que par un retour à la simplicité.
Oui.
Il n'y a pas d'autre... je suis étonné de voir que certains pensent qu'en développant des quantités techniques et des tas d'appareils très sophistiqués, on va résoudre les problèmes. Non, on ne fait que reporter. Il y a un côté très, très angoissant parce qu'on se pose des questions fondamentales, on remet en question des choses qu'on croyait bien établies. Oui, ça m'impressionne très fort. Mais je vois que finalement, la seule voie, c'est pour notre, en tout cas notre monde occidental et la plupart des gens qui vivent dans ce contexte occidental, c'est retrouver une sobriété, une simplicité. Alors, depuis un petit exemple, hein, tout petit, depuis près de 30 ans, je crois, je ne sais pas exactement, je ne prends plus que des douches froides, de l'eau froide.
Oui.
Dans ma maison, il n'y a pas d'eau chaude.
Ah, d'accord.
Oui, quand il faut, pour faire du thé,
Oui.
on chauffe de l'eau, mais
Oui.
sinon, il n'y a pas d'eau chaude.
Okay.
Et alors, les pèlerins, parfois ici, je dis voilà, c'est comme ça. Et dans le site, je dis, je reçois comme je vis.
Oui.
Voilà. Depuis l'an passé, je suis ici depuis, je ne sais plus, 7 ou 8 ans. J'avais un tracteur tondeuse pour ma pelouse, pour mon gazon. Et depuis l'an passé, j'ai dit stop. Et j'ai laissé pousser. Et puis, j'ai repris la faux.
Ah oui.
Ah oui, c'est calme, c'est tranquille. Et c'est formidable parce que quand on a des plantes sauvages qui poussent dans votre jardin, on les voit évoluer, se développer, apparaître tout d'un coup. On reprend alors un contact beaucoup plus intime avec les éléments de la nature. Et ça, c'est pour moi encore une découverte toute récente.
When I continue my journey the next day, the words of Pierre are still lingering in my ears. I couldn't have all explained it better myself. The spirit of the pilgrim, and how as I experienced myself as well, it's not only a way of traveling, but it can also become a deeply satisfactory lifestyle. Clearly, the process of simplicity and sobriety, when consciously embraced, inevitably always circles down to the essence of our existence. What a blessing to meet such a light-minded person, and I consider this meeting already as one of the highlights of this journey. This is nice in the shade, next to this little stream.
Hoi.
En van waar komen jullie?
Uit Nederland.
Waar precies?
Spijkenisse,
Ja.
ligt onder Rotterdam.
Ja, aan het water daar zeker, hè?
Ja.
Ja, klopt.
Ja.
Met de trein gepakt naar Brussel. Daarna de trein naar Namur. En vandaar lekker gaan fietsen.
Dus jullie zijn vertrokken in Namur met de fiets
Ja.
Ja.
langs de Maas.
Langs het water, ja.
ja.
Ja, dat was leuk nou, langs het water.
Ja, langs de rivieren is het eigenlijk fantastisch rijden. Ik vind ook.
Ik zie soms nog eens een kasteel langs het water staan.
Ja.
Dat is leuk.
Veel.
Dan denken we iedere keer, nou zullen we nou maar weer stoppen om een foto te maken. Gaat de vaart er wel uit.
vous plaît.
Très bien.
Ook, want ik stop voor langreizigers.
Hmm.
Een routeur.
Ja,
Mooi, mooi.
ja. Leuk.
En slaap jij overal? Of in mijn garden? Of campings? Of...
Meestal in de vrije natuur. Maar ja, ik probeer soms ook mensen te contacteren via een website om
ja,
in
er is een speciale website in Wallonië. Welkom in my garden.
Ja, ik ken het.
Maar je moet natuurlijk de goede plaats vinden ook. Nu, als je in de bossen komt hier, dan ga je een beetje aan de kant staan. Ze gaan je niet in het prison zetten. Ze,
Nee, nee, nee.
met gehoorzame mensen die het fatsoenlijk doen, die geen vuur en zo maken.
Ja. Ja, ik ben er vrij gerust in altijd. Dus.
Maar ja, maar ja.
Ik doe dat al lang, al jaren.
Ja. Oké. Pure natuur, bio, appelsap.
Wauw,
Pas op, hij is nog warm.
mooi.
Maar voilà, dat zal voor u lekker en gezond zijn. Het is 1 kilo, hè. Dus hoe ga je
Ja, dat is
doen?
niks. Ik heb veel gewicht, ik tel mijn gewicht niet. Dus ik neem mee hetgeen dat ik nodig heb en op.
Allee, ik ga nu laten.
Well, it's always kind of exciting to have a friendly little thunderstorm raging over your head in the middle of the night. For even though having had the experience several times before in the past, that doesn't take away your vulnerability when you're basically just lying on the ground in an open field protected only by a few sheets of cloth. And in this case, a liter of freshly bottled apple juice for comfort. Well, that's pilgrim sobriety demonstrated for you, I suppose. With the heat of the previous days washed away by the rain, I'm slowly making my way across the Ardennes in the direction of Luxembourg.
Vorig jaar had ik in Spanje reed 3 dagen onwaarschijnlijk veel regen. En dat was een ramp voor elektronica. Hè.
Ah ja, zal wel zijn.
Je GPS en alles te houden en zo.
Ja.
Oh, man. Ik had mijn kaarten eigenlijk opgestuurd per ongeluk. Ik had zo'n pakket dat te zwaar was opgestuurd en waaronder mijn kaarten.
Oei.
En dan moet alles doen op GPS. Hè.
Ja.
Ja, dat is toch wel het risico.
Ja, zeker.
Dank voor de babbel.
Ja, heel plezant. Het is altijd een van de leukste dingen als mensen ontmoeten onderweg.
Ja, dat is super eigenlijk.
Oké, goede reis nog.
Ja, jij ook.
Ja, dank
En de
je.
groeten aan die zoon in Beieren.
Ja, goed.
Nou, voor mij, ik moet zaterdag terug in Gent zijn. Dus
Ja.
vandaag Aarlen, morgen Mons. En dan is het Anderlecht, Zaventem. En IKEA Gent. En dan is het feest. Ja, overal word ik opgewacht, hè. Er is van alles te doen.
Oh, dat is wel leuk.
Ja, het is zo wat voor de positieve vibe in IKEA terug te krijgen.
Mhm.
Dus, met coronajaren en zo, er zijn heel veel mensen die niet goed in hun vel zitten.
Ja, zal wel. Oh. Goed, allee, geniet er nog van.
Ja, zeker. En hopelijk heeft mijn batterij niet te veel nodig.
Hmm.
Oké, Eddie?
Tot ziens.
Ja.
Hey, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow. Hey. Seven o'clock in the morning and I'm on the road already. Woohoo! Going uphill, wind in the back, yes. I'm standing on the border between France and Germany. There's lots of these giant wind turbines around. Some on the French side, some on the German side. They're everywhere. Following the bike path along the river Saar, I have a wonderful encounter under one of the bridges with a lovely family of 4 who left their home near Namur a few days ago on their travel bikes. I always find it inspiring and courageous for a family to travel together on bikes, but these people are truly taking the challenge to a whole new level. Alors, quelle est votre destination finale?
Première étape, c'est Milan, en Italie.
Milan.
Ouais.
Wow.
À Milan, on va prendre un avion pour rejoindre le continent africain.
Hola.
On n'est qu'au début du voyage, hein.
Ça c'est extraordinaire.
Et puis la destination finale, c'est Cape Town en Afrique du Sud.
Cape Town. Wow. Mon Dieu.
Parce que moi j'étais né là-bas.
D'accord.
Daryl est originaire d'Afrique du Sud.
Et j'ai toute ma famille qui sont toujours là-bas.
Ah oui.
Donc on se rejoint là-bas.
Wow. Allez, bonne route. We have only met for half an hour, but my heart goes with them on their long and adventurous journey, and something tells me we will meet again one day. To avoid upcoming hills, I have chosen to follow the Eurovelo 5, cutting through the northeastern corner of France along beautiful canals. After the previous grey and rainy days, I'm glad that the sun is out again, making for some glorious
Bonjour.
biking days.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. In Strasbourg, I cross over the Rhine Bridge into Germany again, where I'm welcomed in the house of Peter and Tanya from the Warm Showers Network for Bike Travelers.
There's an interesting German film that's called Weit. Did you hear of it?
Far. Weit means far.
And it is a documentary like maybe the one you're intending to do.
Huh?
It's a couple, a young couple living near Freiburg, living near here. And they were traveling by hitchhiking to the east, and they wanted to travel around the world but without a car or plane.
Without flying?
Without flying.
I'm very fortunate to be able to enjoy Peter and Tanya's warm hospitality during the next 2 days, when heavy rain is pouring down incessantly. On the third day, with a forecast of drier weather to come, I decide to continue my journey. But I get a beating anyway. Not so nice. I don't like this. I can see why it's called the Black Forest here. Pretty dark, isn't it? In the neat little town of Donaueschingen in the Black Forest sits the source of the mighty Danube River. The place also marks the starting point of the famous Danube River bike path, going from here all the way to the Black Sea. Not for me this time, I will only do a very small part of it.
I do street musician busking, and I do this today here in Tuttlingen on the bridge. And it's very nice. Some nice things happened today. A little girl came by with a dog, and she looked at me and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I have no money, but if I would have one, I would give it to your suitcase." It was very nice, and yeah. So it's
At one point, going at considerable speed over a nasty hump in the asphalt, my lowrider breaks into pieces. Well, the bike being nearly 30 years old, so is this piece of aluminum. It has served me well over 40,000 kilometers on 4 continents, but this is sure the end of it. So one of the front panniers gets strapped on the back of the bike, and the ride continues. Okay, doesn't look 100%, but it will get me there. I don't feel like getting up. Too bloody cold. Headwind all the time, headwind. Oof. Exhausting. Tired. Dankeschön, Dankeschön.
Wollen Sie noch ein paar mitnehmen?
Nein, das wird zu schwer sein.
Okay.
Vielen Dank.
Einen schönen Tag noch und eine gute Reise.
Dankeschön. During the previous days, I've made a big loop from east to north and from north to west, now heading back into the direction of Antwerp and towards the end of the journey. Whereas the first week was still hot and sweaty, now it has become cold and often rainy. And my body is telling me that I'm not 30 anymore and that it needs more rest. So for now it's okay to slowly move towards the end of this journey and then start thinking about the next one. Yep, there is sure a certain healthy addiction to bike travel, and I dare say it has to do with several things. First of all, the simplicity of it. Going back to basics and scrapping all the unnecessary stuff from daily life creates plenty of prime time and the peace of mind that you rarely find at home. Second, the feeling of freedom, especially when choosing not to be tied to a riding schedule or a fixed travel plan. Not knowing in the morning where you will end up in the evening leaves plenty of room for smelling the flowers, for possible treasures of serendipity, and to contemplate the beauty of what you get to see. A bit of planning is fine, but too much is a burden. Third, bike travel is a great way for learning to trust in the abundance of life. Everything you really need is either provided for or is there for the asking. Again, a bit of planning is fine, but too much might interfere with what might actually show up naturally. An apple a day keeps you going a long way. Fourth, I once read that moving across the surface of the globe is like making love to the earth, because of the friction it involves. I think that's just a great way of nailing our intimate relationship with the earth and with nature, which naturally provides endless opportunities for man's basic need for change and wonder, as opposed to dull and deadly routines that too often tend to dominate our lives. As I look back on the journey of the past 30 days, it doesn't feel like one journey. It feels like 30 different journeys, every day holding so much richness, almost too much to absorb. But the greatest treasures of all have been and always will be the people you meet along the road. Each and every one a reflection of part of ourselves. Guten Tag.
Gut drauf?
Hm?
Sollen wir mal zurückfahren? Gut geworden?
Ja, ist schön. Ich liebe das
Ja.
Gelb.
Ja, Ginstergelb.
Ginstergelb.
Ja.
Ja.
Ja, ja. Postgelb ist Ginstergelb.
Ja, schön.
Schönen Tag.
Ja,
Ciao.
danke. One day just a short encounter and a few friendly words exchanged. The next day an exclusive invitation to a beautiful private concert. In the end, everything passes. The heat and the cold, the rain and the wind, steep climbs, mechanical breakdowns. Everything always passes or finds a solution. The only thing to stay is the road, the ever-changing, eternal and glorious road. And it always leads back to ourselves.